Hey everyone, welcome back to yet again another episode of the Upgrade My Rituals podcast. My name is Kevin McKellar, your host, and thank you once again for tuning into the show that is all about productivity, efficiency, trying to design this perfect or close to perfect ideal day that when our head hits the pillow, we know we're on the right track when it comes to our mind, our body, our careers, our family. And that's a really hard thing to do. And in that process, and using a system that I've coined ritual design, it could get a little dicey, could get a little hairy, right? And we have to keep one word in the forefront of our mind, and that word is happiness. Now, I know that sounds kind of cheesy, just because we want to be happy, but it's so crucial because happiness has nothing to do with the amount of success or failure that we experience in our life. And we could be failing for a very long time until we've kind of are breaking through certain patterns in our life, creating new habits, creating new routines, and it could take some time. But if we're happy doing that, then it becomes way easier, and we actually reach that success level way faster, because when you're happy doing stuff, it's that much easier, right? So today I want to break down something that I've been realizing in my life lately, what the actual definition of happiness is. Now, I didn't look this up. I very well maybe the actual definition, but it's what I know to be true, that happiness is when reality meets your expectations. So think about this. If you are on, I'm going to date myself, but are on, some type of dating app, Bumble, OkCupid, whatever. I don't know. And you go on a date and you expect that date to be good. The guy or gal that you looked at, the picture, you want them to look like what they see in the, you want them to be a good conversationalist. You just want to have a good time with them. You want them to show respect and all that stuff. And maybe you want other things to happen. Who knows, right? But you want, you want to have a good date. And when that happens, you're happy. And when that doesn't happen, when reality, comes crashing down and does not meet your expectations, you are right? You are sad, you are frustrated, you're really pissed off because this is the fifth date in the last month. Whatever. There's nobody good out there for me. So that is a really, when you really think about that all of a sudden conjures a whole bunch of things about how we can craft happiness on a daily basis. And when we can do that, and again, that is a habit. And I don't usually talk about habits on the show because my system is all around, revolved around routines, but habits are a real thing. And developing a happiness habit is tricky. But of course, we can use routines to kind of help that. So today's episode is we're going to get a little granular, right? So I want to kind of walk through all the ways in ritual design that we can kind of craft happiness in our day. In the morning routine, AM routine, right? What we are focused on is we're focused on trying to start the day on your terms, on your physical terms, your mental terms, your emotional terms. Set yourself up for success the rest of the day. Try to avoid any other people's agendas for the first, half an hour, whatever it may be, the things that you're actually, when you're doing this, elements of your routine. And, some of the things you may want to do is, maybe a mantra, right? I don't actually do mantras, but I know they're very effective for most people or some people. And a mantra may say that, you may go through and say, my identity is not tied to the events that happen in my life. I am a strong and compassionate person. I excel in yada, 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 whatever it may be, right? And just simply doing that mantra that you've already crafted in prior now can set you up to say that I am ready for reality to not meet my expectations, or I don't have any expectations. So, that's another thing that we can talk about is, I used to have a lot of expectations. I used to have a lot of expectations of my friends. I used to have a lot of expectations of my family. And when they didn't meet those expectations, I was upset. I was hurt. And there's a part of me that still is, but I understand that that's all it is. It's not that I'm right and they're wrong. It's that I had something that I was trying to expect other people to fall in line into my script of life. And I thought that they were going to share my vision and my character traits of what I think to lead a good life is. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they only did once or twice, or they didn't ever, or whatever it is. That's all it is, right? So it's very interesting to think about whether you're prepared to have life fail your expectations or have no expectations. And again, that's a habit that you have to work at for many months, if not years. So let's talk about the before work routine. Here's a good one I like, especially with everybody kind of coming back into the offices now and slowly at least. I think there is something to be said for kind of having a quick, not even a conversation, but just trying to go out of your way to see people and say hello and just, hey, good morning, whatever. And you're probably not going to love every single person in your office. You maybe not even be able to say hello to every single person in your office. But I think that is an easy way to put some positive vibes out in the world, right? And kind of almost push against some of the negativity that might come your way from Frank or Sally or whatever it is, right? Because if you just go out of your way to, walk around, and this is coming from a job that I worked years and years ago. It was a temp job. Oh my God. It was at a pool manufacturing company. And this was the worst. I worked there for 6 weeks and I got another job. I was like, I got to get out of here. This was the worst. Oh God. It was just like looking at numbers all day of like millions of pounds of steel. And I just didn't understand. I was like, this is terrible. Either way, I found myself a lot of times in the morning just kind of, going in, making a right, and going right to my cubicle. And like not seeing anybody, not saying hello to anybody, or at least the people right near me. And if I could do it again, I think I would kind of make my rounds and just say, good morning. Like that's a really great habit to kind of get into, and an easy way to kind of put some, like I said, some positivity out into the universe in your before work routine. Let's take a look at the after work routine. Something here that we can talk about crafting happiness is making communication, again, you see my theme here, a part of your after work routine. A lot of times we'll be tired from the day. We'll shut our laptop off and we'll kind of just head upstairs and just watch TV or something, right? And especially if we have been out all day and we've been away from our family, the first thing that we really want to prioritize, in my opinion, is spending time with the most important people that are in your life, your kids, your wife, your husband, whatever it may be. And that may not be possible all the time, but even if it's 10 minutes, sitting down, grabbing a glass of water, a beer, whatever, and just having a quick conversation. Hey, what's up? How was your day? What happened? I missed you. Whatever, right? That I think will pay dividends because it's a subconscious thing more than anything technical, right? The first thing, again, kind of like in the morning, the very first thing that you do when you walk in the door, you're prioritizing the people in your lives versus your comfort or your escapism, right? So that's something to think about. PM routine is kind of, in my opinion, kind of comes back introspectively and is really good to prepare for the next morning, but unwind from the day, right? So some of the things that I may be doing, like I may do a salt bath, what kind of salt is it? I forget what type of salt, special salt that I do. And I might use that as a meditative approach instead of actually doing a meditation session. I sometimes, will prioritize another hour of work for myself, which I feel good about, right? Because I know I'm using that time at night to, work on certain things on the business or whatever it may be. So I know what makes me happy, right? Because if I can meet those expectations on what I want for my life, right? If I want to grow my business, I have to work on it. So if a couple of weeks go by, and if you've noticed, prior to episode 52, there was a big gap of like 3 weeks, I couldn't make an episode. I was getting ready for the planner launch, right? So I wasn't as happy as I wanted to because my expectations was to get it all done, right? And that was, obviously lack of ability to see and plan for projects that I've never done before. So those are just some ideas to kind of craft happiness throughout your ritual design and throughout the routines that you have in your day, and just some random ideas. I think the real question is, I want to hear from you. Like, what is it that makes you happy? And it may not be the things that you do, but it may be the direction that you're headed in. The things that you do, that kind of build momentum over 2, 3, 4 weeks that says, oh man, I feel really good because I'm making progress on X, or I'm doing Y every day. And that's a real great thing to look at your, granularly, it's not a word, but to look at your ritual design and say, okay, I really need to make sure I prioritize X and do this and da-da-da. My wife and I, we, even before we had the baby, we always, probably about once a week, either myself or my wife, we find ourselves just randomly saying to each other, like, damn, we're lucky. We're really lucky. And then we always kind of come back with, well, we work our ass off, at the same time. But, there's a lot of luck to it, right? We were born into great families. We live in the United States. That's, it's very lucky. We have a lot of things that were out of our control. And we lucked out on. And when you're grateful, that is another recipe for building happiness, right? Because when you think about it, gratitude is interesting, because gratitude is removing the expectation from reality meeting or not meeting your expectations. Because when you're grateful, you're thinking about the things that have already happened, the positive things that have already happened in your life. That's one of the reasons why gratitude practices are so powerful. So one more thing before we wrap up today, just to kind of go back, one of the things I do every morning is do a gratitude session where I just write 3 things down I'm grateful for. I do that in my daily pages in the planner, right? So I just anything could be, as simple as I'm grateful for having a nice office to work in, or I'm grateful for an amazing mother, whatever it may be. So those are just some ideas, like I said, to craft happiness with your ritual design, but understand the biggest thing is what happiness actually is. And the more you kind of sit with that in your head, the more you'll be prepared when somebody lets you down or something lets you down. You don't have to be sad about it, because it just is. That person is just living their life too. And it's just your expectation that you had. So either have no expectations or be grateful. With that being said, thank you so much. And again, once again, to let you know, the Ritual Design Planner is launching June 14th. I'm super excited. Mark that date in your calendar. You will get the founder's discount if you, at least if you sign up to be notified of that. You'll get all the information of that. I'll leave the link in the show notes. And I'm just super excited. I know that's going to help so many of you actually implement this system, because again, it has a lot of moving parts. It's a little overwhelming, but that definitely makes it easier. So thank you once again for listening. And of course, I will see you next time on the Upgrade My Rituals podcast.